Good evening, Hyperspinners. Today I had a request to talk through setting up the Sega Triforce system, so get ready. Alright guys, so let's get started. So we are talking about the Sega Triforce system. So this is essentially, I think, a list of 3 games. You can find them in the arcade, essentially. We're talking Mario, basically Mario Kart games. There's 2 of them, and then an F-Zero game as well. So if you go to Hyperspin, the hyperspin-fe.com, under the download section, you'll find there is a set of media that is available, and you can also find more of the media on the Hyperspin FTP, so I recommend checking that out. But the database is what we're after here, so go ahead and download that since we're here, and we'll go ahead and get started here. So I'm going to go ahead and open up HyperHQ, and just like what we normally do, we're going to go to the main menu wizard and push the plus sign, and you're going to create a system called, let's see, Sega Triforce. Here you go. And you're going to hit next a couple times, and you're going to say it has a sub wheel, and it's going to congratulate you, and you will be up and running here. So go ahead and jump to the wheel settings tab now, and this is what you'll see. And you'll want to make sure that Hyperlaunch and PC game is disabled. You're going to see that the Hyperlaunch XE Sega Triforce ROM name is all set to default, and the path to your games and your subfolders are set to disable. So we are on our way to emulation. We're going to go to a wheel, and this is all by default. If you have a custom build, you'll want to move your alpha to the set standard that you like. I like 0.15. Then you're going to go to navigation and themes. You're going to want to also default these, for all your systems, but you'll want to use the reload backgrounds, the animate out, and the use parent videos. This doesn't really matter here, but just for kicks here, you'll select that. Next, we're going to go to videos. This can be blank, but I've got it set to my Sega Triforce folder. This, by all means, can be blank. I don't even see a benefit of having this path anymore with the new updates to Hyperspin, but there you go. And then we're going to go to sounds. Got those checked, and then special art. So if you guys have been following my videos, I've got a nice frame around my videos, or my Hyperspin. The system name, the year that it came out, and the genre art. So that's what this is all about. So we're going to be checking each one of those. And then we've got the numbers here. That's just the location of the file. Alright, so that is it on HyperHQ. So we're going to go ahead and close that out. And then what we're going to do is go to it's Rocket Launcher now, not Hyperlaunch. And you're going to go to the global settings here, and you're going to go to emulators. You're going to scroll down to Dolphin Triforce, and if you don't see that already, you're going to push the plus sign. But since it's already here for me, I'm going to double click it. You're going to type in Dolphin Triforce if it was not there already. And then the path is going to be your relative path for your emulator. So I've got this path here. And then the ROM extensions are going to be 7Z, ZIP, and ISO. And the module is going to be the Dolphin Triforce AutoHotkey. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. Then I'm going to scroll down to the system that was created here. And since we're thinking about it, I'm going to go to the database folder, so Hyperspin, databases. I'm going to scroll down to Sega Triforce, and I'm going to drop that XML in here that we just downloaded from the Hyperspin forum. If you haven't already, take a look at Don's tools that will allow you to create these genres, and yeah, the favorites XML, I actually use Hypermint to create that. If you haven't already seen that video, definitely check that out. But that allows you to create some XMLs that are, your favorites. So you've got two options. You've got like set favorites for your XML, or you've got the favorites menu in Hyperspin. So yeah, just another option. I'm going to go ahead and close that window out. And then what we've got here is under the Sega Triforce system here. Let's go ahead and look at the settings tab here. Everything looks like it's set to default here. So everything's use global settings. Skip checks is set to false. Bezels I've got set to false here. I believe there was just an issue with bezels in general for this system, but again, like, this is going to be full screen. It doesn't really bother me too much. Everything else is set to default here. And the other tab that we care about here is the Fade General. Looks like everything's set to global, so we are good there as well. And we're going to move on to the Emulator tab. So you're going to select the game path that you have for your Sega Triforce. You will have to find those games. I won't be supplying those. Next, we've got your default emulator. You're going to push the magnifying glass and select Dolphin Triforce. You're going to see that I've got a couple other options here. Basically, this system is kind of special. So what we've also got here is if you push the plus sign here, what you're going to want to do is create one for each one of these games. So I'm going to go ahead and double click F0 Dolphin, and you're going to see that it points to the emulator that's specific to this game. And then your ISO 7Z and zip are going to be your ROM extensions, and the module is going to be the Dolphin Triforce auto hotkey. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. We're going to do the exact same thing. So once you close this out, it does save, and you're going to push the plus sign again, and we're going to create this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and double click that. You're going to type in Mario Kart Arcade GP2. You're going to put in the path to the game location, the emulator for Mario Kart GP2. And then your extensions are going to be ISO, 7Z, and zip. And then the module is going to be Dolphin Triforce. So it's pretty much the same thing. We're going to go ahead and close that out. And you have everything set up in Rocket Launcher. Let's go ahead and look at the module tab here and click the Dolphin Triforce. We're going to click the little paper with the orange icon, and everything looks set to default. And there are a couple settings here, so go ahead and push the plus sign, and what you'll find is the game that's available. And basically we want to set F1 to true. So long story short is some of these games essentially have or require a save point and to actually get them launching. So what you'll find is when you launch these games, F0 will start, without any of the nonsense. Mario Kart Arcade GP, basically, I've got a save point ready for you, so you can, when, and if you find that game, that save point will basically be triggered upon launch. So that's what that send F1 is. It is basically loading a profile. Otherwise, the game does not actually start. You've got to get around it by loading a save point to basically start the game. So just a little fun fact here. And yeah, that's it there. And it does look like, I haven't selected this, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the process. The Mario Kart GP 2, I'm going to select that game, and then we're just going to select to true. So that's all there is to it. And that is the setup within Rocket Launcher. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And here, we'll go to the games, we'll audit, and there's the 3 games. And all we've got to do left here is go to the emulator section. And what I've done here is I've uploaded the 3 emulators. on the Ninja 2B Scene dojo under Hyperspin emulators, and what you'll find is, I'm just double checking it's all there. Yep. All right, so all you've got to do is download that file or that folder, and your emulator will essentially be set up. The only thing that you might have to do is edit the configurations for your controls, so I'll show you how to do that. But each one of these have the basically same root folder. What you'll have to do is just edit the Dolphin WX-XE. So when you open that up, you're just going to go to configure here, and this is the configurations that I've got here, and that should be default based on the download there. And we're going to move on. So depending on your setup, your graphic card, etc., this might not be a one-to-one, but it should be close. You can tinker around with some of those, but yeah, I don't think you really need to. All right, so we're going to move on, and we're going to go here. Everything is set to default. The path, what you'll want to do is change the path in the path folder, or the tab, and select the path of where your games are located. And you can do that by just putting it in here. You want to do this for each one of these root folders. It's going to be the exact same process, but you'll want to remove this and then add that path here. And then you'll also want to change your path down here below. So you can see that it's the Sega Triforce, and we're just changing the users and then the Wii folder. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. So that was the configuration, the graphics. Depending on the graphics card that you've got, you'll want to change that adapter. And everything else looks good. Then what you're going to want to do is change the gamepad settings. So you'll just go in here and you'll change each one of these keys to your liking, and you'll basically press OK, or you'll want to save the profile here. You can do that for player 2 as well. And then we've got the Wiimote configurations. You're just going to go up here, you're going to hit configure, and then you're going to just change the configurations there. You can see the mouse is moving that IR frame there. And once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and save. Save the profile, and then push OK. So that's all there is to it, guys, and you will have everything set up. Let's go ahead and just breeze through this to make sure that we've covered everything. And yeah, so I've uploaded that emulator pack on the Emmy Movies FTP. So go ahead and grab that. That will speed this process up for you tremendously. And you'll want to make sure that you edit those configurations in each one of these folders as well. But after that, it is up and running. And the only other caveat that I can think of is when we're talking about the games themselves, the Mario Kart Arcade GP2 has a save point, I think, with like 15 seconds before it elapses on time. And it's just at the start selection screen, basically asking for a Mario card. Once you've selected your start option, I think mine's set up to key H, but once you select that, what will happen is your timer will stop at 15 seconds or whenever you press it. And what you'll want to do is just give it, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds or 15 seconds, though the timer will stop. It is still thinking, so just give it a second, and that game actually does freeze at the beginning upon loading, but then after that freeze session, it does work outstanding. So just want to throw that out there. That GP2 is a little finicky. You just gotta give it a second to give it some extra love, and just wait and then it'll work for you. So that's all there is to it for this Sega Triforce, and if you guys are interested in another system, definitely recommend in the comments below. And yeah, we'll catch you next time.